Have we perfected scarcity in Bitcoin?
Yes, I think, in my opinion, it is the invention of, or discovery of, depending on how you look at it, of absolute scarcity, because it's not possible in the physical world to have a finite supply of anything. Mm-hmm. You can always make more. Even with art, like people point at Picasso, you can't make more Picassos, but you can always pick the next new hot artist, and the total supply of art expands. Or you could find more Picassos too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, in the physical world, it's not possible to have a finite supply, but it's possible in the digital realm. And Bitcoin is the invention of that, the first system that invents digital scarcity. And luckily, probably because Satoshi was an absolute genius, he took that to the extreme and invented absolute scarcity. And then incredibly cleverly, he also implemented a system of increasing scarcity. So, the halvings amount to increasing scarcity, terminating an absolute scarcity. Yeah. And what we're living through is this the early stages of the world waking up to, there is a monetary good that becomes more scarce every 4 years that you hold it. And it will eventually be absolutely scarce. There will never be any more made of it, as opposed to real estate, equities, and company equity, art, gold, everything else in the physical analog world that you can always make more of. And so Bitcoin is the perfection of scarcity. And what's wild about that, in the context of this piece, is that scarcity and appreciating and valuing scarcity appears to have been our evolutionary competitive advantage over other early humans. So if that's what defines us as humans. It's what separates our species from other early humans. And then along comes Bitcoin, and it's literally the perfection of that which makes us human. And I think, and I think that what we're seeing in the first 16 years of Bitcoin's monetization is every Homo sapiens, which is everyone, has it in their DNA to appreciate and value scarcity based on this genetic mutation. And that means that, now that we're interacting with perfect scarcity, it's this inevitable gravitation, species-wide gravitation to this new thing, because this is what we've been searching for our entire species history. And here is the perfection of that which makes us human. And this is a once in a species event.
Wow. It's profound, right? And people that maybe haven't done the work or dug into Bitcoin deeply often think it sounds hyperbolic, perhaps. If it's that which makes, or at least, I don't want to say that which makes us human, because there are so many things now that make us human, but it's like it was the starting point, right? The thing that started.
The thing that separated us.
Yes.
And it's the thing that enabled so many of the things that we point to as human. It enabled art.
Yes.
Because it enabled the aggregation of larger social groups. And that's when you start to see the specialization of labor. That's when you start to have artists and other, tradesmen, because you're living in larger social groups, you're living in like proto-civilization. And then everything that, we point to as human comes from that context. But what enabled it was this ability to appreciate scarcity and this covetous interest in scarce assets that then kickstarts the bootstrapping of the concept of money.
Yes. Yeah. And to like try to pry that open a little bit, the appreciation of scarcity, which again is embodied in the action of accumulating and saving the thing. In this case, it was seashells over time. That it seems like it has something to do with metacognition, and that you almost take the perspective of the other. Yeah. Right. And you start thinking like, oh, I've seen people over time do useful work for these seashells. and you see that, you expect that to persist into the future. So then all of a sudden you can start accumulating this thing and then think about your legacy and your future lineage and whatnot. So there's this sort of metacognitive thing going on with, and again, I don't know, chicken, egg, I'm not really sure, but there definitely seemed to be this upgrade in human cognition, human cooperation, as we're describing through trade and economics, and perhaps even religion, perhaps even morality, if we take Hoppe's point seriously. So if scarcity is kind of the seed for all of this, what is absolute scarcity? Is this something, is this going to do something new to us?
Right. Yeah, that's right. And that's where it's so exciting about, like, what I like to talk about, the bright orange future of what Bitcoin makes possible, or a lot of the trends that Bitcoin can reverse. I mean, we mentioned the enshittification of everything, like, how all goods in the fiat standard have to, be made worse, or their prices raised, right? Like
or both.
Those are right, or both. Those are your choices, and that's because we have an inflationary monetary standard. And if you have a deflationary monetary standard, which you do have with Bitcoin, if you're not making any more, if there's a finite supply, but the economy continues to grow, then you get more for your share of the existing monetary supply.
Yes, your money buys more over time. Yeah.
And that's deflationary. So if we shift from an inflationary flywheel of everything getting worse because all prices have to go up.
Prices go up, quality go down.
Yep.
You flip that.
You flip it.
Yeah.
And you start the flywheel in the other direction, which is what we saw from the closest thing we had to a deflationary monetary standard was the American Revolution to 1913. 150 years where gold was money and the economy was growing faster than the gold supply. So you were getting more for less. And what did that do to tradesmen is they had to make a choice of, okay, I either lower my prices or I make my product, my service better and retain the same price that I'm asking from customers. So, and that is the flywheel cycle of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Everything gets better over time.
It sounds like very central to civilization too.
Yeah.
Things getting cheaper and better over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin rips us out of this fiat flywheel of everything getting worse and offers us a flywheel of everything getting better over time. And I think that's what happens to people who embrace Bitcoin as their unit of account, as a core part of their savings strategy. I view Bitcoin as a savings technology that is the core of my financial world. And my life gets better over every 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's because I've embraced this deflationary monetary standard. And that's a choice that everybody on earth gets to make. Every day, everybody wakes up and 99.9% of people continue to use fiat as their monetary standard. But some people wake up and say, I'm gonna choose to make Bitcoin my monetary standard. And then those people see their lives getting better over time. Yes.
No, I love that. And it's so, I like how the framing of the essay presents it such that we're really just following what our ancestors did to get to this point, right? It's like the recognition of scarcity as a superior monetary property, and then you accumulate that one. Obviously the past 100 years are a bit of a weird period because we have fiat, but if you look over, I think you said 6,000 years ago was when gold sort of came online, that's been the pattern. Yep. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.